Welcome back, my honeys. It's Mama Bree, and I am back with another video. Okay, this is part 2 of my kidney transplant / dialysis process. Okay, but before we get into this video, like, comment, subscribe, and give this video 2 thumbs up. And share this video with someone. It may be very helpful to someone, to you or either a family member or a friend. But tonight, you guys, I am going to talk about the process to get listed for a kidney transplant. And these are the things that I had to do. And as I told you all in my last video, if you all haven't seen it, go ahead and check that out. I went over the beginning of my diagnosis and how many hours I had to do PD dialysis every night and stuff like that. So I'm going to go over how to get the process to get listed for a transplant. You would first have to find what hospital in your area that does transplants and call them and speak to a transplant coordinator, and that person will tell you what you need to do. For me personally, the first thing you have to have is a support system, and that's a family member or friend or someone that will go with you to your appointments faithfully, someone that will be your caretaker after you're transplanted, and someone that will, be the person that will be your transportation to and from your appointments. Because again, like I said in my last video, this is a very tiring disease, so you will need some support, even to concentrate, processing things that are said to you during these appointments. You'll need some support. The second is compliance. You have to be compliant, and being compliant means you have to go to all of your appointments. You have to take all your medications. You have to make sure you have your lab work drawn. You have to do exactly what the doctor asks you to do, and they will know that you're not doing it based on your lab work. So you have to make sure that you are compliant. You don't want to miss appointments, if possible. Now, I know emergencies do come up. However, try your best to make every appointment and be compliant. Take your meds when you need to take your medicine. If you have problems with getting your medicine, you will be assigned a social worker. You have your dietitian, your social worker, your transplant coordinator. You will have all your resources. They will make sure you have all your resources. So utilize them if you need to. Training is another thing. You will be trained on how to use, or if you're starting, excuse me, you'll be trained on your equipment and what to expect and how to do things. That's another thing. And they'll ask you questions. You'll have little mini, not really a test, but little quizzes. They'll ask you questions just to make sure that you understand what is being taught to you, that you understand your treatment, that you understand what to expect before and after transplant. They'll make sure you're knowledgeable to understand what needs to be done or what's going to happen. You'll have lab work. Make sure you do your lab work. I had lab work every week or every 2 weeks. I had to do lab work. And I was listed with 2 hospitals. I was listed in Charlotte, and I was listed at UNC Duke in North Carolina. And when you do lab work, those labs are sent to each hospital, including the center where you have your dialysis. And those hospitals, they have your lab results. You have to have a physical every year once you are listed. Once you are listed, you have to have a physical, which includes a stress test, echocardiogram, EKG, ultrasound, And it's basically an all-day visit. So, and they'll have a schedule, like you'll have this at 9:15, this at 10:15, this at 11:30. So you will have to go. So you have to take a whole day of work off, or if that's if you work. But just expect to be there all day when you have your physicals once a year. And that's pretty much all of the process to get listed. Once you are listed, you will receive a letter in the mail, and they will let you know that you are listed, where you are on the list, and they will also remind you to make sure you have an updated phone number. They'll ask for a couple of phone numbers. I know they asked for mine and my children's numbers and Charles's number. I think, and my sister, I think they had like 4 or 5 numbers. So they will ask you for contact numbers. They will also explain to you what is expected if you get that call. You also have to start raising money, do a fundraiser. And what that fundraiser is, that fundraiser helps with your medication, because you're going to have to show that you can cover your medication. Because even if you have insurance, sometimes you still have a copay, and they have to make sure you're going to be able to afford your anti-rejection medications. And we'll get into that as well later on in another video. So we had to do fundraisers. We had quite a few of them, and we did dinner sales. We sold dinners. We had bands made, Kidney for Sabrina. You probably seen those around. We had a whole bunch of support. We did dinner sales. We did raffles. We did vendor setups where we had vendors to come out and set up, and they paid $25. We invited a lot of people out. And this was all done in my backyard. We had maybe 15 vendors, and they did very, very well. I had food. We had a seafood boil, and the tickets were like $25 to come in. But they were able to eat all the seafood they wanted to eat. We had fish, crab, shrimp. So that was a very successful fundraiser, and we had quite a few of those in a GoFundMe. And so you want to show that you really want this kidney, because they are not gonna just put you on the list if you're non-compliant, because they're going to give that kidney to someone that cares, that really wants to live, that really want to be there for their family. If you're non-compliant, if you don't show that you want to raise money for a fundraiser, they even have so many resources that you can look into to help with everything that you need. You'll also be placed in the Kidney Foundation organization, which is awesome. They'll help with your insurance payments. They'll help with anything you need help with. So there is no reason why one won't want to be listed, or there's no reason why you can't get your medicines. There's no reasons why they even have support groups. I was a part of a support group because you need a support group. This is all new for most people that are diagnosed with kidney disease. It's different and it's new, so you have a lot of questions. And me personally, I had a conversation with my doctor, and I told him they may have went to school to learn about the kidney, how the kidney function, how to do transplants. However, no one can tell you about kidney disease better than a person that's going through the kidney problem, the issues. No one. And he agreed with me, because they are taught, but you can tell the story. If you're dealing with kidney disease, we both have the same story. We can tell it better than anybody else. So, you have to be, like I said, be compliant. That's the main thing. And you got to show that you want that kidney. And I understand that process, because you wouldn't want to give a kidney to someone that hasn't made their appointments, hasn't been compliant, not taking their medicines, not getting their labs drawn. And then you have a person over here at the same level or same wait time, and that person has been compliant, that person has been, doing everything that they were asked to do, taking their medications, doing their lab work, following the orders of the doctor. You would want to give that person a kidney first. So that's how they look at it as well. And they communicate with each other. These hospitals communicate. So they know what you're doing at your dialysis unit too. If you're doing hemo or PD, they communicate. And believe you me, when I was called for my kidney transplant, they made calls prior to ask is she compliant? And they would call my nurse like monthly, because she would tell me, I've heard from your doctors in Charlotte, or I heard from UNC, and you got a good report, because I wanted a kidney, so I was compliant. Even though I worked a full-time job, I was compliant, and I did what they asked me to do. Now I can say, before I take any medicine, not just being on dialysis and being prescribed medication, I just pray over my medicine anyway, and I research it, the side effects, what to expect, how it may make me feel. So if anything happens with my body where I feel different, I will know that it's coming from the medication. Because doctors, like I said, they went to school, they're just operating off of what they were taught. But at the end of the day, you know how you feel. I did anyway. So I did my research, but I still took my medicine. If I had a reaction, to the medication, you have a 24-hour nurse line. You have that phone number, access 24 hours a day. So there's really no reason, unless you can't really comprehend. And again, that's where that support comes in at. Because there's some elderly people that's on dialysis, and they really can't comprehend a lot of things or understand what's happening. So that's why that support system, again, is very important. And so once you're compliant, and once they see you're coming to your appointments, doing your lab work, taking your medication, being involved, they always ask you how you're feeling, your anxiety level. Do you feel suicidal? Are you depressed? Because this disease brings a lot of depression, because you do not have the same quality of life that you once did. So remember that. So you have to have a strong mind, because I was in a room for 70 hours a week. I was confined to my bedroom. And just before, I would say 5 or 6 months prior to me getting that call for a kidney, they had just came out with these caps that you could cap off your catheter, and I would be able to walk around the house in between my dwell time. But see, before, they didn't have that. I would have to sit on that machine. But like I said, maybe 5 or 6 months before I got the transplant, they came out with this cap that you can put on the catheter and tighten it up and just walk around the house. And that would have been so great. But being confined to a bedroom and a bathroom for 70 hours a week was a lot. It was a whole lot. But you have to have a strong mind. I read my Bible. I read books. I was on Facebook. I did Sudoku. I just found things to keep me busy. And thank goodness I had a wonderful partner that, he just put his life on hold too. He just stayed in the room with me as well. So that took a lot too. My travel was, I couldn't travel that much. I did go on some weekend outings, but it was kind of difficult because I had to drag that machine. Sometimes we would take a little road trip, but the machine had to come along with all those heavy boxes. And that was the fluid that I had to put on my machine to exchange the fluid out of my body. So those boxes are pretty heavy. So you just have to have a strong mind and just find different things to do. Praying really worked for me, because it takes a lot to Monday through Sunday, Fridays and Saturdays, I stayed up a little longer, maybe 9:30 the latest, because one thing about it, whenever you start your PD dialysis, if it's 10 o'clock at night, you won't come off till 9 o'clock the next morning. So it's going to run for 10 hours, period. So the longer you wait to get on it, you just have to remember it's going to run for your 10-hour dwell period and your exchange period. So that's what I had to do. And like I said, on Fridays and Saturdays, I stayed up a little longer. But of course, you don't even be really relaxed, because you got to go get on that machine. But again, you have to have a strong mind, and you just got to just pray. But again, this is part 2. So you all, I'm not sure how many parts is going to be to this, but I didn't want to make these videos so long to bore you. But if you have any comments, any questions, please post them and list them below. I will answer your questions, and yeah, give me some feedback. What you would like to know. If I have the answers, I'll share them with you. If I don't, I can help you maybe with resources that can help you with your questions. But like I said, drop those comments, talk to Mama Bree. I'm here. I'm willing to talk to you. I'm very transparent. Whatever you want to know, nothing is off board. So just drop your comments below, and I will see you in my next video. It will be part 3. So, all right, y'all have a good night. Bye-bye.